Hey Grace, it's Anthony here. I just wanted to take a quick screen recording to give you a tutorial. This is probably the third time I've done it, so excuse me if I miss anything, but I'm having problems with my recording software. But with that being said, I wanted to cover what I need help with, and if you could give me a timeline on that and let me know if you have any questions, that would be great. So let's get started. I have a software called Sunrise, and this does accounting, and we need to upload receipt captures to this software. So what we can do is go into banks or profit and loss statement right here and look for fiscal year 2019. It should be the default, so you don't have to worry about it. And what we're going to do is go into each one of these items that have a number that's not zero. So for example, start with depreciation. I would start with the larger numbers and then move smaller. But if we go into depreciation, you're going to see a bunch of Amazon receipts, some trading glass company, Rex Fabrics, Beach Photo and Video, and so forth. So, with that being said, what we're going to do is I gave you access to a tax document folder, and in that folder, there are receipts and expenses. So, we're going to try to match these transactions up with the receipts. So, in this case, this is an Amazon receipt for $22.98. And this was purchased on December 29th. So we're going to go in here, we're going to look for Amazon, and we're going to look for one that's $22.98. So with that being said, once you have found that, you could click this origin and click more, edit, and then upload the receipt. And you're going to do that with every single transaction in here. So move from top to bottom. You don't need to do things like the revenue here, but you should do anything basically below this line here, and that would be great. Also, goods purchase. Let's see, bill of Viva import. I could get you that receipt as well. So basically, anything that is below this line, as well as these two, we need to go in and find the receipt. Again, I would suggest that we do the larger items first and then move down smaller. So with that being said, there are going to be some items that don't exist. Oh, by the way, once you're done, you could move the folder here into completed. And I also created an Airtable column for you right here where you could find the transactions such as Amazon. Let's say you're working on Amazon. You could find the transaction, Amazon LLC right here, and then just click upload it to Sunrise. And then once it's uploaded, you can find the transaction number here. In fact, I'm going to relabel this so it's a little more apparent. Transaction number. You could find the transaction number here and then move forward from there. So you could click upload it to Sunrise. Once you're done with this invoice, you can move it into completed, and then you could continue on to the next receipt. And as you can see, there's lots of purchases. There's other expenses here. You've got Amazon again. You've got ShipStation, things like that. With that being said, there are going to be some exceptions. There are going to be some transactions that don't exist in Sunrise, but I have receipts for. In those instances, I need you to go in and create a transaction. So you're going to create a new transaction. You're going to do a manual transaction, and then you're going to put a description, and then attach a PDF image here. Or sorry, I just ignore everything I just said right there. We're actually going to do it in this area. So you're going to go to profit and loss statements. You're going to go into depreciation, and then you're going to create an expense. Okay. Inside the expense, you're going to create a vendor if it doesn't already exist. So if there is a vendor that already exists, you could just go into Amazon LLC, and then you're going to create the expense state. So let's say this one does not exist. This was purchased on December 23rd. So what we're going to do is put 1223, 12-23 2019. We're going to mark this as paid. We're going to say paid on the same date, and then we're going to say that it came from the Chase credit card right here. Okay, and from in here, you'll just put Amazon LLC, and then you could go in, and if you want, you could fill out the description. So in this case, this is DisplayPort cable. So you copy this and then paste it in here. I'm not going to confirm this because it might already exist, but this is just kind of an example. And then once you're done, you put the value here. This would be $12. 12 and then you upload the receipt. Okay. So, and then once you're done with all that, click approve. Now, in the event that there's going to be two events, one that the vendor doesn't exist. In that case, you're just going to go in here and create a new vendor. You'll see that you can just type the company name here. So in your case, it will be Grace. And then you could select individual or company and then press save. And it will automatically create the vendor. Now, there is another thing you need to know. There's this expense category. It's either going to be depreciation or other. I tried to organize this as much as possible for you. So if you go back into 2019 taxes, business expenses, you'll see there's depreciation here, and these are all the receipts associated with depreciation that don't exist. There's also other expenses, shipping, and subcontractors. So with that being said, that's what happens if you find a receipt that does not exist in Sunrise, but needs to be created. Now, I tried to organize this as much as possible. All these asterisks right here that you see on top are ones that I 100% know do not exist. So you could go in and add that under depreciation, other expenses, shipping, or subcontractors accordingly. And then you could create the vendors right here, Best Buys, eBay, Newegg, and then just go in here and look at the receipt and basically find out how much was spent. I think this is not a receipt. But you could go in and look at the receipt and view how much was spent. Where's my order? Oh, there it is. $515.66. You could track the time and so forth. So, yeah, that's kind of how we would do that. And also, again, you create a new folder here and say completed. And then drag these items into completed once you're done with those. Okay? So that's how you do that and create new expenses. Now, with that being said, most everything should be in here, and in some instances, you're going to find transactions that are in here but don't have a receipt inside here. Okay? So if that's the case, then just let me know. In fact, I will say insert right here, and we'll just make it say no receipt found. And then I could, basically look for the receipt or just let you know, go ahead and ignore it. So you could create a checkbox. Let's say Arrays Heirloom doesn't have a receipt. We're going to click a checkbox there, say no receipt found, and we could worry about that in the next step. So anyways, it's a pretty simple task. I gave you access to all this. You could download, all the transactions are inside this Airtable for your convenience, but you could also download it here by clicking export data, expenses, 2019, and it'll also download for you right here. So you have free reign of this. Let me know if you have any questions regarding this. It's a pretty simple task. I tried to make it as easy as possible for you. And then also give me an estimate about how long you think it will take. I would like to get it done by the end of this week if possible, but early next week would be also okay. Okay, great. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.